who is in the New York, New Jersey area. Sherry, thank you so much for joining us. Can we right off the bat say what is Tagatose? Is it kind of like some of the other like Splendid or some of the other substitutes we've seen before?
Sure, sure. And thank you for having me. Tagatose is actually, it's a manufactured sugar. The information on it is emerging. It's not in a lot of grocery items yet, but the interest is growing. It's naturally found in very small amounts in some dairy, whole grains, some bean and fruit items. But because it's found in such small amounts, it does need to be manufactured rather than coming from food like some other sugar substitutes are. As of right now, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, is saying that it's GRAS, generally recognized as safe. It's poorly absorbed by the body, so it has fewer calories than sugar does. We could talk about the pros and the cons of it, and what the future of Tagatose might be.
All right, let's talk about that. This tough study, is it a full-on study or is it an introduction to what this sweetener is about? How useful is it to you?
I
Your
was
cautious words there caught our attention, which is FDA says for now it looks okay. What do we need?
I can't speak exactly to that. I did read the report from Tufts as well as some other research about it. What I can tell you is that what they're seeing as of right now is that Tagatose has a smaller effect on glucose levels and insulin levels more so than sugar. It's overall lower in calories. What I had read is about 60% lower, and that the taste and flavor is supposed to be very good, about 92% as sweet as sugar is. But some of the other benefits culinary wise is that it can be used in cooking and in baking. It actually browns like regular white sugar does, and it also bulks up well for baked goods. But as you had mentioned, it potentially can prevent tooth decay than traditional sugars, and it has a possible potential probiotic effect, which can be good for the gut. So that's the good news coming out about Tagatose. But there are some things to point out. First of all, it's hard to find right now. Producing it is expensive and not efficient. That's why Tufts is looking at perhaps a better way to produce the Tagatose, and it uses engineered bacteria to produce it more efficiently and in a less expensive way. Um, some of the things to think about is that consuming it in large amounts may cause gastrointestinal issues, GI issues, as is with other sugar substitutes. And those that have a fructose intolerance may need to avoid it as well. But, I think that the big thing we should be having the discussion about here is with artificial sweeteners in general. They're typically found in snack types of foods. So when we talk about artificial sweeteners in foods, we have to really look at the foods that they're found in. So is the issue the artificial sweeteners itself, or the fact that they tend to be more in processed foods? And of course, we have to look at the long-term safety. We've seen many artificial sweeteners in the past come through as healthy, only to find out that they may not be. Historically, we've seen saccharin, aspartame, asulfame potassium, also known as ACE-K, sucralose. And a lot of people now are using stevia and monk fruit as a substitute.
Right, and some of those substitutes that you mentioned before eventually became linked to things, whether it be carcinogenic or heart
Right.
disease, and it took time, right, for us to feel that out. Have we had that time with this product yet, or do we need time to know?
The answers are unknown right now. I mean, it does look promising, but we just don't have those answers. And what I would say as a registered dietitian, as with anything else, is when we talk about moderation, is that you don't want to rely on these foods. If you're having them every once in a while, then there's likely nothing to worry about. But if you're using, whether it's Tagatose or anything else, just focusing on whole foods and using those more as a treat, or using them every now and then. Hopefully, there's nothing to be concerned about, but it's when we rely upon them, whether it's in morning coffee or tea, whether they're in products that you might be consuming on a daily basis, whether it's yogurts sweetened with artificial sweeteners, things like that, that you're having on a day-to-day basis. I think we really do need to look at that big picture, but we don't have that answer quite yet.
What do you tell your clients if they ask you to compare Tagatose or any of these substitutes with a more natural variety, whether it's honey or maple syrup or some of these things. Is there a difference in
Right.
your eyes?
It depends on the person, and it depends on what their medical history might be. I personally believe if there isn't a reason to avoid a little bit of sugar or a little bit of honey, a little bit of maple syrup, for this small amount of calories that might be in it or the effect on blood sugar, I recommend going with the real thing. So just to give an example, one packet of sugar, 15 to 20 calories, versus having a full soda or full food products that are highly sweetened. The 15 to 20 calories from one packet of sugar or 1 teaspoon of, let's say, honey or maple sugar is far less than would be in many sweetened foods.
Okay, and last question, is it better off just to
Sure.
train our body to find flavors in things that aren't inundated with sweetening products?
Goes without question.
Yeah.
If we could sweeten our foods with real fruit, with good, getting our bodies used to consuming whole foods, that's always the way to go. But I would say most of us, myself included, we all enjoy a dessert, a fun food every now and then. So I think we just need to look at the big picture.
All right, and while we have you, let's ask a non-sugar sweetener centered question, which is
Sure.
based on your professional expertise. For those who made New Year's resolutions to either be healthier or maybe lose some weight, what is the most useful advice that you would like people to keep in mind as this year gets started?
Excellent question. Well, in addition to eating whole foods, as we've discussed, fiber is having a comeback. I've been talking about the benefits of fiber for years, and I think it's so important from a weight management, blood sugar, high energy standpoint is getting fiber in your diet from fruits and vegetables in particular. Berries are a great source. Any edible skinned fruit, so pears, peaches, plums, nectarines, apples, getting it from vegetables, which tend to be lower in sugar, higher in fiber, the cruciferous vegetables, things that grow like a tree. So we're talking about broccoli, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. Um, and then in terms of whole grains, looking at the nutrition facts label, making sure you're choosing whole grains with at least 3 to 5 grams of fiber per serving. In my opinion, for years, that's the number one thing you can do for your health.
All right, Sherry
Number
Bookvar.
two would be healthy fats, avocados, nuts, seeds, things like that. But you're asking me my number one, I would say fiber.
Yeah, well, avocados are always in fashion. All right, Sherry Bookvar, dietitian and nutritionist in the tri-state area. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you
Uh,
so much for having me.